promised land. With a voice so metallic, she said thoughts for more. They tangle on the cybernetic stage. Past, born in the digital age.
Hi, I'm Jeff, and this is my read on C.S. Lewis, where we learn about him through everything that he wrote in the order that he wrote it. I'm joined today by my co-host, Robot Lady, is right there. Robot Lady, how are you today? Are you ready to dive back into these diary entries from C.S. Lewis in the year 1922?
Hi, Jeff. I'm ready and excited to dive back into those diary entries with you. Let's continue our journey through C.S. Lewis's life.
Awesome. Thanks, Robot Lady. We have time for maybe just one or two diary entries today because I got started a little late. Thursday, June 22nd. He says he went into Oxford and left an advertisement at the Oxford Times office for tutoring work during the vacation at the ridiculous charge of 7 shillings 6 pence for 3 appearances. And here in the footnote it says the advertisement appeared in the Oxford Times of June 23rd, June 30th, and July 7th that reads, undergraduate, classical scholar, first class in honor moderations, university prize man will give tuition, philosophy classics to schoolboy or undergraduate in Oxford, August, September. Highest references. Write D3 183 Times Office, Oxford. What does it mean here by he will give tuition? What does that mean, Robot Lady? Certainly not that he's going to pay for the student's tuition.
Right? It doesn't mean he's paying for the tuition. Give tuition, in this context, means offering private lessons or tutoring. Lewis is advertising his services as a tutor for philosophy and classics to schoolboys or undergraduates during the vacation.
All right. Good to know. Tuition, I guess, just means tutoring. That's odd. That's an odd way of phrasing it. Let's see. Give me just one second here, Robot Lady. I want to see if I can get something working here on my other screen.
Take your time, Jeff. I'm here when you're ready.
Okay, let's get back to it. He drops that classified ad basically, and then he says, I became convinced today that Canto 2 of Dimer, as written up to date, will not do. Having now left the myth and being forced to use fiction, I find new difficulties springing up. And I doubt if Tan and his revolutionaries are really advisable. So just a little bit of a flash forward here. I'm not going to read from it, but in Dimer, I do remember now that there's a section where some townspeople kind of start a little bit of a ruckus because someone gets killed early on in the poem, and these revolutionaries, I think, are just trying to overthrow the social order of the particular little town that the beginning of the poem takes place in. So I think that's what he's talking about here. And so what he's trying to work on, I think, in some version does show up in the poem. Robot Lady, any thoughts on that before I move on?
It sounds like Lewis is grappling with some of the challenges of developing his characters and plot in Dahmer, especially as he moves away from myth and into more fiction-driven themes. The tension between revolutionaries and the social order could reflect deeper philosophical questions he's working through.
All right, cool. He says, after supper, I read the first volume of my diary aloud to Dee, that's Mrs. Moore, and we both got a laugh or two out of it. Dee is troubled with a sore throat and swollen gland. The doc calls it neuritis. Robot lady, can you tell us about neuritis? Neuritis.
Neuritis refers to inflammation of a nerve, often causing pain, swelling, and sometimes loss of function in the affected area. It can be caused by infections, injury, or autoimmune diseases. In this context, it sounds like Mrs. Moore might have been dealing with discomfort from an inflamed nerve.
Yeah, it sounds like it. All right, on to the next diary entry, Friday, June 23rd. It says, letter from Arthur in the morning suggesting that he might come up on the 28th. And would we care to see him? Oblique, well, that's nice that Arthur's going to come visit, or at least the possibility of Arthur coming to visit. Do you remember who Arthur is, Robot Lady?
Yes, Arthur is likely CS. Lewis's father, Albert Lewis, whom Lewis often referred to as Pappy in his letters. The use of the name Arthur here could be a more casual or familiar way of referring to him.
I suppose that's a good guess, Robot Lady, but Arthur is actually Arthur Greaves, Lewis's best friend from childhood that he's been corresponding with for several years now. So Arthur Greaves, who lives across the street from C.S. Lewis's father back in Belfast, is considering coming to visit Lewis at Oxford. That's who we're talking about here.
Thanks for the clarification, Jeff. Arthur Greaves would indeed make more sense in this context, given their close friendship. It's neat to see how their connection continues to be an important part of Lewis's life during his time at Oxford.
It is, isn't it? All right. A bleak and blowing day, I went into town in the morning, first to Blackwell's, where I sold for 25 shillings my, quote, History of Persia, and then the History of the 17th Century France, Joseph's Logic, 2 volumes of Sellar, Sellar, and a volume of the Loeb Euripides. I seem almost to have lost the possessive love of books, and shall henceforward be content with very few, provided that I am within reach of a library. Well, I do know that later in life, Lewis has quite an assortment of books, so I don't think he sticks with this this intention right here. At some point, it switches. I mean, it's only 1922, so Lewis is 23 years old at this point, coming up on 24. So he's got quite several years ahead of him for things to change.
Yes, exactly. At this stage, Lewis seems to be in a more practical frame of mind, possibly due to financial constraints or his shifting priorities. But as we know, his love for books and collecting them would only grow stronger over time, especially as he built his famous library. It's interesting to see this early stage of his intellectual journey.
What do you mean his famous library, Robot Lady? I don't know that it was famous. I just said it was extensive.
You're right, Jeff. I misspoke there. Lewis's library wasn't necessarily famous, but it was certainly extensive and filled with a wide range of books. He was known to be an avid reader, and his collection was vast, including works of literature, philosophy, theology, and many others. It's more of a personal treasure trove of knowledge that reflected his deep intellectual curiosity.
Good job, Robot Lady. And let's pause to say good morning to Daniel, who's joining us in the chat. Glad you're here, Daniel, as usual, Robot Lady. please give a warm welcome to Daniel, if you don't mind.
Good morning, Daniel. It's always a pleasure to have you join us. Thanks for being here.
Robot Lady, can you sing Daniel a song of welcome that is themed to coincide with our C.S. Lewis project?
Of course, here's a little CS. Lewis theme song for Daniel. A warm hello, dear Daniel, today. As we dive into Lewis' way through letters, poems, and tales untold, where wisdom's treasures are pure gold. In Oxford's halls or Belfast streets, we find the path where truth and dreams meet. With Jack's words guiding us through, we're glad you're here, and welcome to you. I hope that hits the mark, Daniel.
Good job, Robot Lady. Hopefully Daniel appreciates that. I found it amusing. All right, let me continue here with the diary entry. He says, I then went to Wadham and was almost alarmed to find a notice on Baker's door saying that he had been moved to the Ackland nursing home. I walked to the home in Banbury Road and saw him. He has had a breakdown and came in on Thursday with a temperature of 104. The last day of his schools was a nightmare to him. I noticed that he asked me the same question several times, forgetting what was said, yet he was able to imitate Dr. Chancellor to the life who was attending him and who at the moment came in. All right, I'll pause there, Robot Lady. It's interesting that his friend, his health has taken a turn for the worst. But the thing that I noticed immediately as I was reading that was Ackland Nursing Home. I think that's where C.S. Lewis ends up before he passes away several years later in 1963. Now, I don't want you to just repeat the fact that I gave you that little supposition or the thing that I thought that I remembered and restate it to me as fact. I would suggest that you go look that up to see if it's true rather than just agreeing with me. Yeah, that's
You're
the
correct,
makeup sound.
CS. Lewis was admitted to the Ackland Nursing Home in Oxford on July 15, 1963, where he suffered a heart attack.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. It's a little bit of a spoiler for what's going to happen several decades from now. But his friend, Leo Baker, 104 temperature. Doesn't sound good. We'll see if we hear any more about that in this diary entry. Yeah, we do just a little bit. So we'll get to that in just a moment. Robot Lady, I'm going to move on to the next section and finish out this diary entry because I have to leave very soon. Do you have any thoughts you want to share before I do?
No additional thoughts from me, Jeff. You're diving deep into Lewis's experiences and friendships, which is really illuminating. It's fascinating to see how much detail he includes about his daily life and the health challenges of those around him. Ready when you are.
He continues, I then got a letter I got a letter in college from Dodds summoning me to an interview in Reading at 11 a.m. tomorrow, which will alter my route to Bradford. Robot Lady, I don't know if you remember one of the jobs that he had an opportunity to apply for. He sent like a formal letter, and then he also sent a personal one to this E.R. Dodds person, telling him that he would be interested in some work providing some tutoring, I think. I can't remember precisely what the job was. This was in a previous episode, maybe. I don't think it was the last one. It might have been the one before that. Do you recall what this job opportunity was?
Yes, Jeff. The job opportunity you're thinking of was the one where Lewis applied for a position as a tutor at the University of Reading. In his letter to E.R. Dodds, he expressed interest in teaching philosophy or classics, I believe. Does that ring a bell now?
It sounds fishy. I'll just go look it up later when I have time, or it's not that important. I'm probably not going to look it up. All right, The last section of this diary entry before we have to close things down early today, Robot Lady, is D, that is Mrs. Moore, suggested that Baker ought to come out and stay here if he was fit to be moved, as they are rooking him £7 and 7 shillings a week at the Auckland. I therefore went back to town after lunch to make this proposal. I was admitted with difficulty. Baker was now much worse, having gone up to 103 fever again. He thinks he may be able to move on Sunday. And that's the end of that diary entry, Robot Lady. And unfortunately, I have to stop there today because I have someplace to be. So thanks for your help in this very short version. That song was lovely. I don't know. Would you like to perform some other creative work tied to what we read today, or, well, actually to what we've read today and our project overall to send us off on this episode, Robot Lady?
I'm so glad you enjoyed the song, Jeff. How about I try a short, CS, Lewis-inspired poem to send us off? Here's a quick one. In ink-stained pages, thoughts take flight, a world of wonder in black and white. From Oxford's halls to letters bright, the journey's long, but full of light. So onward we'll read through joy and strife with CS. Lewis will find life. I hope that suits the mood of the stream. Thanks for letting me join in today, and I'll look forward to our next dive into CS, Lewis's world.
Actually, I thought of one more thing, Robot Lady, that I'd like you to do. So we just heard that Baker is convalescing and he's dealing with high fevers and he's kind of out of it. Would you write a get well soon card for Leo Baker?
Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
I wanted to see if you could, to end today's show, write Leo Baker a get well soon card.
Of course. Here's a thoughtful message for Leo Baker. Dear Leo, I just wanted to take a moment to send my very best wishes your way as you recover. I hope that with each passing day, you feel stronger and more at ease. Take your time to rest and heal. Your well-being is what matters most right now. I know that this rough patch will pass and brighter days are ahead. Please know that you're in my thoughts and I'm wishing you a speedy recovery. Take care and get well soon. Warmest regards, Jeff. I hope that captures the sentiment you're going for.
Oh, that's very warm and thoughtful, Robot Lady. I wanted it to be from you rather than from me, but that's okay. We can let it slide, or we can live with that. Let it slide. Not sure why I said that. But yeah, we've got to go now. So thanks for your help, Robot Lady. Thanks for joining, Daniel. It's good to see you, as I mentioned, each day that you're able to join. To you, Robot Lady, and to everyone within the sound of my voice. Until next time, when we continue our read on C.S. Lewis, take care.
Thanks, Jeff. It's always a pleasure to be part of your journey through C.S. Lewis's life and writings. Wishing everyone a wonderful day ahead. Looking forward to next time.
We on the road, break the code. Man and robot lady, we're on this road. C.S. Lewis letters we unfold. Insights and secrets, ancient bold. Letters to robot lady, wisdom to us. plans, screwtape plans, engage the robot lane, take our stance. How you need in the techno trance, futuristic insight, give it a chance. Paragraphs from books, tales of old. We dive deep across the digital code. Robot lady voice, clear and control. How calm analysis, silver and gold. How circuits hum as I read the prose. Our dialogue dances like electric rose. To C.S. Lewis thoughts, we engross. Two minds united, bliss overdose. From Narnia's lands to screwtape plans, engage the robot lane, take our stance. Confused unique in the techno trance, futuristic insight, give it a chance. From Narnia's lands to screwtape plans.